Hello and welcome back to V8 Tech Work. So today we are going to continue building our application, and right here in the previous video you can see here we had an error, and this error is pointing here to this function that is for registering the user, and actually you can see also it is pointing on this keyword here, export. So that's what we are going to do. We are going to tackle this error, and also we are going to push our code to our GitHub doing the pull request. So if you haven't liked this video, kindly like, and also you can subscribe to this YouTube channel so that it may reach many other people. So let us do that by starting by at least making sure that this error is gone, so we can get into where the code is pointing, or this part here where we are the code is pointing the error. So let us get into the logic here for controllers. Then here we have the parcel, and then we need to at least eliminate these exports here. So we can export using another method. So I'm going to remove this export here like that. Also, I'm going to remove this export here. All these export here, you need to remove them like that. So let me remove it here. And then also there's another way that you can remove all the export here if you highlight it and then Control D. So that's also the one of the things that you can do. So right here now, I want to export now. I'm going to use module.exports like that. And then here I can export them. So I'm going to at least make sure that I export all the functions that I have here. So I'm going to start with this function for delete parcel here. So we have delete parcel, we have the other function that is up here, get user parcel. So let's do that. So get user parcel here. So also we have the other function here that is get one parcel. So get one parcel, yeah. And then we have the other function up here, the one for update parcel. So let me include it here, update parcel. Let me just use this is a small u, so small u here. So update parcel, actually this is update parcel like that. And then we have other function here. So we have update parcel, and also we have get all parcels. So get all parcel. So you can see all the function that we have here. So we have get all parcels, and lastly we have create parcel. So this one here like that. So now the other thing that I'm going to do is that also I'm going to remove this importation that I have done here. So I'm going to remove this, and then I can be able to save this file, and also I'm going to format my code. So also I'm going to do for the other logic and controllers so that we eliminate that error. So here for the auth.js also I'm going to remove export, and here because already we have done with that with our parcel, now this I'll just make sure that I do it quickly. So here I'm going to highlight this export here like that, and then I'm going to Control D to remove every export in this page. And then down here now I'll be able to export it. So module.export exports, and then here I can be able to at least export them. We have these two functions, register user and login user. So login user, and then login user, and then have register user like that. And then we can proceed to this other user controller here, and here also I'll do the same. I'll highlight the export and then Control D here, and then I'm going to remove it, and then down here I'm going to export. So module.exports, and then here I'm going to export this one, get all users get all users here. So we have users here like that, and then we have the other one here for this function delete user, just like that. So delete user like that. So I think now we should not have the error right now. So let's us check if we have any other error. And right here it is restarting, and also you can see here server is running on port 8000, and then the DB connection is successful. So the other step that I want to take here is to make sure that I push my code to GitHub. So let's do that. So I'm going to cross also these files here first of all also. So let's get into the folder that has this project, and it's here in documents, and then send it. So I'm going to do git branch first of all to see which branch we are at, and here you can see we are in this branch that you are calling backend. So here I'm going to do git add first of all, git add everything, and then I'm going to comment, so git commit here also. And here I can add something like structured the code to use controllers like that. And then I'm going to do that to push now. So git push, and then origin like that. And this time I'm going to also push the backend branch to our repo. So let's do that. And if you also don't understand what we are doing, that means that you have not watched previous video. So go back and watch the previous video so that you'll be able to understand what we are doing here. So we have pushed our code, and then I'm going to visit my GitHub here. So my GitHub, so let me see the notification for pull request. So after it has loaded here, I can go to repos. So we have the repositories here, and in here we are going to have now this full stack parcel delivery system repo, and here we'll be able to see we have a pull request that we need to do. So you can see here backend has risen pushed 34 seconds ago. So I'm going to click here compare and pull request here, and in here also you can see structured the code to use controllers, and then here also we can add any comment here, but this mostly is the work of project manager. So you can see the code that we have added so far after now the previous versioning or the previous changes that we did. So I'm going to make sure that I create pull request here, and then after that we can be able to merge now our code. So you can see it's checking for ability to merge automatically, and after this we can confirm the merge here like that, and then now that is it. And also if you come here to the insight, I want to show you the graph that GitHub is making for us. So here you can be able to see now we have made two merges here from this branch that is called backend, and also you can see we have merged twice here in this with this master branch here. So that is it. I want also now to go and first of all now be able to test our backend using this Postman here. But before even we do that, we can just make sure that also we create a middleware that will be checking if the user has authenticated, and also if maybe the user is admin or a regular user. So let's do that. So in here in our code, and here also in this backend here, what we can do is that we can create another folder. So this folder we are going to call it middlewares like that, and under this here we have middlewares. We can create also a file that we are going to call verify token, because this is here where we are going to handle the logic for first of all checking our token. So remember the token that a user is being given when they log in. So that's the token now we need to verify. so that other fetching the data also can be controlled and under control, and we know who is able to at least check or be able to fetch the data. So here I'm going to first of all make sure that I import JWT. You can see here, and this here I'm going to require it from now JSON web token here like that. And in here also I can be able to create the function. So this one is a verify token like that. And then here I can be able now to at least create anonymous, or this function here is not anonymous function, and this one here has three this one will have like three arguments. So the first one here will be request, and then response, and then the next function. So I'm going to show you how to use all of this. And the other thing then I'm going to do is that I'm going now to create the logic here. So the first thing that we are going to do is to check if we have authentication token. So to do that, I'm going to have a variable here that I'm going to call auth header here, just like that. You can call it the way you want. And here I'm going to check it from the request and then headers and then token like that. So this is where we are going to check first of all if we have a token, and first of all if we don't have token, or if we have this auth header here, now that's when we can proceed on other things. Else here we are going to send another, we are going to send a message here. So rest status, and then we are going to use for one status code. That means that the user is not authorized, and here we can just send a message, you are not authenticated, you're not authenticated, like that. Now the other thing is, if we have auth header here, what should we do? So we need to make sure first of all also the auth header contain token. So this token here, we can create a variable to store this token, and to access this token we need to get the auth header here. So this auth header, and then inside here we can split it, and through splitting here we are going to split using the space, and then we can now access now the second element like that. So this is, or the first, this is second element, because in array number 1 means that it is a second element, so 0 is the first element. So now the other thing that I'm going to do is to verify now if the token is valid or it is not valid. So to do that, I'm going to use jwt.verify here, and this is the function of JSON web token, and here I'm going to pass the token now that we have gotten from our headers. And the other thing that I'm going to do is now I'm going to use remember the passphrase, or the pass variable that we created on our .env here. So I'm going to use that, and to do that I'm going to make sure that I also import .env. So I'm going to import .env here. So require .env here, and I'm going to config that .env so that we can be able to access .env file. So .env like that, and then .config, and then now through this now we can be able to access now every variable that is on .env here. So here I'm going to add here process.env, and then here the variable was jwt. So it is jwt underscore sec here, and this is the variable that we use to sign our token. If you come here to auth here, you'll be able to see that. So let's just check. So here, if you see here, you can see when we are signing this token, you can be able to see we are using this process.env.dwt_sec, and also if you open this .env, you can see this one dwt_sec, and that's what we are going to use here to verify. So let's do that. So we need to pass the token, the variable that we use to sign, and then the other thing that we need to make sure is to now get we are going to get like a callback function here, and then this callback function should contain two things. So the first thing that it should contain is error or info, but in our case is user, because we stored user when we were creating this token. So if you check here, you can be able to see we also stored the ID, user ID, and also the role of the user. So those are the things that now if we verify and it is successful, we are going to get now the user. If it is not successful, that means that we have error. That means that this token is not valid. So let me check if there is an error. So if there is an error here, what we are going to do is that we can have now, we can send the message here 403, and then this one here is let me send the message here, and this message will be token is not valid. Token is not valid, like that. And then down here, if there's no error, that means that we can continue here. So what we are going to do down here is we are going to have another part here that we are going to call request.user, and then this one we are going to also assign it the user now, like that. So and then now we can be able to call the next function here, so that it proceed with the request. So let us save this and then format my code, and I'm going also to just make sure that I close this .env here and also index.js and auth, so that now we have only this verify token here. So the other thing that I need to do is to export. So module.export exports, and then here I can be able to now export my token, or this function verify token. Now the other function that we need to create here is another function for now checking if also the user is if the user is just a regular user, or maybe if the user is an admin. So I'm going to create here verify token, and also this one will be authorization. So here we have authorization, like that. And this one we are going to create a function here, and this also function should have the three argument, that is request, and then response, and then next. Yeah, so inside this function, and also here down, we need to make sure that we export that verify token and authorization. And down here now, we can be able to make sure that now we verify first of all the token using this function up here, verify token, and inside here now we can be able to have request, response as argument, and then we are going to have a callback function inside here. So first of all, that means that our application will just verify the token first of all when we call this function verify token and authorization, and after that now we can be able also to make sure to check if the now request, so if the request dot user, and then remember we also have the we are also storing the user in the role of the user in our token. You can check if it is admin, and if it's an admin, then that means that we are going to call this function next. So that means that we can proceed. Else, then that means that we can send a message, and this user can be, we can tell this user that he is not, or she is not permitted to do that operation. So here is .json, and then again here we are going to send you are not permitted, you are not permitted, something of the sort, to do this operation, operation like that. Or even you can include a message like maybe this operation is only permitted to the admin, something of the sort. So I'm going to do that and save, then format this code like that. And then let me see if all my server is still running and there is no error. So you can see here we don't have any error. And now the other thing that we need to do here is to test now our backend. So let's do that by going to our Postman here. And if you don't have Postman, you can make sure that you download this Postman application here that will help you to be able to test your backend here. So I already created some of these routes here, and I'm going also to show you how you can create the collection here. So yesterday my Postman was not working, so I'm going to show just do a quick recap of how to use Postman. So I'm going to make sure that I create a new collection. So, and then collection is just like a group of requests that you will do so that you can organize your work. So let's do that. So I'm going to close this request here, and then I'm going to close also this. And here on the top right here, you'll be able to see this icon for plus, or this add icon, and also you can be able to click that, and that will create for you a new collection. So here we can also be able to rename this collection here. So just rename this, and we can call it the way we want. Maybe we can say parcel delivery system, delivery system system like that. And inside now you can see here we can have this another collection, and here up here you can see another collection that I had created. So here parcel delivery system, you can see these three dots here. You can click on them and also create a request. So for example, this request, we can call it the way we want. For example, we can also come down here and add you can rename it and maybe call it create user, something of the sort, and then we can just call it like that. And then inside here now we can choose the method that we want to make, and also we can be able to choose how we want to, or which route to be able to make that request to. So because I had already created those all those routes or those requests, so let us use this that is up here, and I'm going to make it a full screen so that you'll be able to see how to make the request. So to start with, we have the register user here, and you can be able to see here it is loading for register user request here. And here you can be able to see we have user, and down here also, or up here you can see here we have a port 5000, but our backend here is running on port 8000. We need to change that, so I'm going to change it to 8000. So it is should be here 8000 because it's running on port 8000. And here also have created like the fields that we need to push to our backend. So you can see here when we are registering the user, so or when you're doing the post request, what the first thing that you need to do is to make sure that you come here to the body, and then after you click here body, you'll be able to see this row data here, or this row. You can also make sure that you select the row. Then here you can also select JSON, or even if you are not using JSON, you can also select other format of the data, maybe text, the XML here, and all these options here that you can see here. So here I had already created that, and when you select JSON here, and under the body, and then row here, you'll be able to actually create now the data that you want to send. So for other requests like get, you should not be concerned with sending the data. So you won't have like you not come here to the body and then the row and then select the data to JSON here. So now let's start try and make the request to this route here, and then the register here. And also I want to make sure that we have this version 1 in our route. So let's come here to the index.js, and in our routes here we don't have that version 1, so we need to create that version 1 here. So also this one should be version 1, and then also this one here. So we need to add that like that, because also you may find that sometimes you need to update on some things, and then you can call it version 2 of your backend. So let's get now to out here, and on the top right here you can be able to see this send. So you can be able to click that, and you'll be able to see if you are able to make the request. So here you can see 404, that means that we have not found that route. That means that also we need to add this API here, because if you check here, you need see we have let me check here. You can see here we have the API and then version 1 out and then register. So you can add this API, or even you can just be able to ignore it if you don't want it. So this is API and then slash out here. So for example, this request that you are going to do here, you can see it is version 1 and then auth and then register. So if it will come here and then hit this route API version 1 and then auth and then register. So it will just go and check into this auth route here. So auth route, it is on this part for the route here. You can see the routes here, and here it will be able to find now the register route, and then it will go to check here on the register user in our control, the functionality. So let me now try and make the request here. So if you do that, you'll be able to see now the request is successful. We have registered the user, as you can see here, and then that means that we can continue with the other request. So for logging in here, you'll be able to see now we need to log in here, and this one is loading. So I'm going to show you here the function here for in our controllers here, and then out. You can see here when the user has been registered here, you are sending the user back to the front end. So and that means that that is successful. So I think now the logging in has loaded, as you can see here. And now here we need to change also the port here to 8000, because that's where our backend is running. And then now we are going to make sure that we are able to log in using the email and the password. So I'm going to check also for the register here, up here, and you can see we have registered this email, and also we are also the password. You can see the password here, so we are using the same. You can see here the same email. So let me confirm if the email is the same. So here you can see we have this email here and the password, but for logging in we are using a different email here. And if we try to do that now, we're going to have an error from our backend telling us that user is not registered. So let's use this email that already we have created this user. So let's try and logging in. And when we try and log in here, you can be able to see, yeah, it is successfully, we are successfully logging in, because you can see the data that we are being sent here and the access token. And I want you to notice something here. You can see we are not sending the password to our front end, and that is a security measures that we was taken to place. So here, if we are logging in, you can be able to see that first thing that we did is to destructure our user from our database, and then we are sending here the information and then the access token. We are not sending the password. So if we try and use an email that is not registered, so for example this email here, let's try. So we are sending the request, and here you can see you are not registered. That means you have you can see this one here up here. It is able to make sure that it's getting or is sending you the message you are not registered. That means because that email is not found, it is not found in our database. So let's continue with other requests here. So we have the other request for get all users here. So this is another request, and then you can see here we have these two here, the post request that we have done here for register and also for logging in. So this one will be a get request, and that's why here we are not going to the body and then trying to create any data, because this is just a get method that doesn't require any data. So for getting all the users here, so this one should be users like that, and then also here we should change to 8,000 like that. And then let's try and hit our backend here and see if we can get the users. So here you can see we have internal server error, and then we can just check if we created this route the correct way. So you can see API version 1, and then let's check that. So API version 1 here, and then users. So let's also check here. Yes, so I think there's somewhere that we have done the mistake, but we are going to rectify that. So let me first of all make sure that I send again, I make the request again, and you can see here this is 500 or internal error. So we can just go to our controller here, and inside our user here we have this method for get all users, and then here we can first of all make sure that we are getting to this place. So call logs here, console log, and then here I can just add users, or maybe something like all users. And if our request is getting to this part here, you'll be able to see that it will also console log here in the terminal all users. So let's try and send the request again. So if we do that here and then check here for our console log here, you can be able to see, yes, we are getting here. So all users, it has been printed, and here now we are going to also see where the problem is. So right here I see where the mistake is, and this is because this is .find here is a function, and we need to make sure that we have added these two brackets here to mark that that is a function. So that was the problem here. And also the other thing that I want to do is now to make sure that I send now the other request. So if we send this request here, you can be able to see that we are fetching the users, and right now, because we have already registered only one user, you can see we have the user here, one user here, and this function here, or this logic here, should be only permitted to admin, that is, and I'm going to show you how to do that, be able to only make sure that it's only the admin who can be able to fetch all the users. So I'm not going to cover all the requests here. I'm going to also make sure that I use or I make a few requests so that also you can do the others on your own. So let me also go here to get all parcels, and here I can change this to here to parcels, and then here also this is 8,000 like that, and then we can try and make that request. So let's try that, and here you can see we don't have any parcels, so that's why you can see here this is an empty array. So we need to add a parcel here, so let's do that. So add a parcel, and it's still loading here. So when we add Parcel here and come back here to this request for get all users here, we'll be able to see that we'll be able to at least get at least that one Parcel here. So let's do that. So I'm going to try and create a Parcel here, and this one here won't be successful because this one we have not changed the port here to 8000. So let's change that, and then let us see if that will work. And yes, you can see now we have created this Parcel in our database, and if we come back here to get all Parcel requests, we should get at least one Parcel. And you can see here this Parcel that we have created. I can create another Parcel so that you understand what I'm doing. So let me create a similar Parcel, and when I come back to this here, get all parcels here, you can see here we have two parcels. So you can see these are two parcels here. So now I'm going to cover another one request here, and then after this, now the other one you can do it for yourself. So this is still loading, and what I need to do here, because updating we need to have we need to also send an ID, so or to use an ID. So let me just make sure that I grab an ID. Right here I want to grab an ID for a certain parcel here. So this is the parcel ID here, one of my parcel ID here, and I can copy it, and you can see this ID here. We never created that ID. This ID is coming from our database, our MongoDB database. So, and also I want you to notice that this is not ID, it is underscore ID. So that will be very important when we are creating our front end. So we are going to access that using .id, not using .id. It will be underscore ID, not ID. So let me just come here and try and update this parcel here. So if I come here to the update, I need to pass now the ID here. So I need to do that, and this request here will be put, not post or get or delete. And right here I can specify the field that I want to update and then the data that I want to update. So I'm going to make sure that I send that request like that, and then here you can see we cannot be able to do because this is 8000. So let me try and do that. So you can see now this one we have updated we should have updated now the status to 2. So if I come here and get all the parcels, so this request here, let's try and see if we have updated that parcel. So I'm going to drag this up. So if I do that here, and then here you'll be able to see we should have updated the status to 2. And right here I cannot see that we have updated. So let me grab the ID here again. So let me copy this and then update parcel here, and then I'm going to paste it here in my URL, and then let me try and update that. So it should have updated here. I don't know why it is not updating. So this is a put request, and then the parcels here, and then this should be updated because this is a put method. And then if I come back here to get all the parcels, so let me try and see if it will have updated. So it is not updating, so that is something that also I'll be checking it. So now the other method you can do for yourself, so the other requests like deleting the parcel and also deleting the user. So there's something that I want to show you here using middlewares. So how to use middlewares. So let's come back into our code here, and we want to make sure that we control how the user is able to access the data. So for example, here in our routes, we can come here to the parcels, and in here, before the user creates the parcel, we need to make sure that that user is authenticated. So I'm going to call now the function here, or our middleware function, that is verify token, and you can see it here. So I'm going to import it here and also use it here. So let's try again to create a parcel here. So if we try and do that, so let me just come back here and for add parcel here, like that here. So let's try and create that parcel. So if I do the request here again, you see that you are not authenticated. That means that you cannot be able to create that parcel since we are not authenticated and we have not sent like we have not sent also the token. So also here I want to show you how to make sure that the admin, or to check for the admin. So I'm going to come here to the get all parcels. So you can see here get all parcels here, and in here, because this only should be permitted to get all parcels, this only should be permitted to only the admin. We can call this method here verify token and authorization. And if we do that here now, let me save this and try to get all the parcels here, like here. Yeah, I'm going to send this request, and when you try to do this request, you see you are not also authenticated, and also this will not be able to, even if you send like the correct token and you are not admin, then that means also that it will not be able to accept that request to get all the parcels. So I don't want to make this video longer than this. I'm going to show you also how to send the token and in later videos, and how also to make use of this verify or this middlewares again when you are a user and when you are an admin. So remember to like this video and also make sure that you have subscribed to this YouTube channel, and also make sure that you have turned on the notification bell. So see you, have a great day.